Trewithen in the pod, the Pit of Doom. Thank you very much for joining me. I've got a bit of a croaky throat and a cold, I'm afraid. I came back from the show last week that you probably saw in the last video, but unfortunately I've caught a cold. Whether I caught it at the show or not, I don't know. I didn't wear my face mask at the show, but then not many people did. I've done a COVID test since I've been back, that's all clear, so it's not that, it's just a common cold, I'm afraid. So there we go. So not a lot of talking, let's get on, and I've got loads of bits to show you. We've got some good running as well in various things, a little bit of steam, a little bit of blue diesel, a bit of green diesel as well. So I'll catch you at the end of the video. And some new stock arrives. The blue coaches have arrived now, so they're just pulling in behind the Class 31. And very nice these coaches are too. It's the newish Backman ones. It's branded Network Southeast, but with passengers and weathered. And I must say I'm rather impressed with them. The figures inside are all a little bit different. They come as a 2-car set, or a pack of 2. So yeah, rather nice. So at least I've got some blue-grey now to run with the fleet, and that's good. Right, and a proper look now at the pub steps that I've done. I found some, the lower ones there, which I think have come from an Airfix or similar footbridge. They were in the scrap box, and then just made up the ones at the top, and found some bits of fencing. Again, that's probably come from a footbridge or something similar, and then just put a wooden panel across the top, and then just filled that in there with some bushes on this side to fill that in. I've also just filled in this piece of greenery here that was over the wall at the end of the platform. So that was a job that was always looking a bit of a mess. Wasn't quite sure how I was going to finish that off, but I think that looks better now. And then this area down here, once the cattle dock arrives, cattle dock will go in down here, and I'll finish this piece of walling off along here once the cattle dock's in place. But it's all coming together rather well now down this end. I'm just going to... So this is what we had originally with the dairy in place, and I was never happy with the end there. It never looked properly finished off because of the roof line and the half relief. So then I tried this, which was to see what would happen if I painted a tree on the back scene to hide the other half, but no, that's not a picture of my face side on. No, it's supposed to represent a tree, but to me it still wouldn't look right. So what I've done now is this. Right, and the change is now with taking the dairy away is that the back scene has opened right out and given me a long vista at the back. That's the right word, I don't know. But that was probably the best part of the back scene painting. It was hidden by the dairy, as you can see. So that's how it is now. I've got to actually lay the grass on that properly, because at the moment it's just sort of plonked in place, so that I've got some idea of how it's going to look. But there we go. So eye level again, looking from over here. Yeah, that's far better, I think. done a little bit more to the buttock bridge TMD. I've now put copper clad across the joint, and this is what it will look like once the baseboard is opened up, and also what it will look like when it's folded in half ready to go into a car, which will then measure 3'6" by 2 foot. So here's a couple of photographs of that. So basically it's a 3-road shed. The far two there are dead end roads, but the one this side is a through road. So I'm going to build a warehouse at the back to hide the fiddle yard. There'll be a gap there where I can put pallets and bits of rubbish, etc., and a wall across the end. So stuff leaving and arriving at the fiddle yard you will see pass through there, and then more warehouses probably along the back, and that will be just a grassed over bit of siding at the end of that shed road. So that's the end of the shed there, and then just enough room along the front for a bit of a footpath or something. And then moving on down, got a 2-road fueling point, and then the head shunt that comes down here and then feeds back into the shed. So that's what we've got, buttock bridge TMD, and that's coming on nicely now. I might even do some separate videos on this later on. Well, it's amazing what you can do with a few scraps of plastic card and a hot glue gun. We'll see how it comes out in a short while, but yeah, it's going to be a coaling stage. Yeah, I know it doesn't look like it now, but trust me, it's going to be a coaling stage. And a little bit of all-purpose filler just to go in around the tops there, and tidy it up a bit. So a coat of paint now and we'll be done on that. So now with a bit of, I've got a dirty pot there that I put all my dregs in, which is what I use for weathering locos a lot, so it's a sort of a browny black, and I've got an XF68 which is a brown, so I'm just going to use that now just to give this a bit of colour, and then it'll be ready for adding some coal later on. So we'll do that. There we go, just leave that for half an hour or so now to dry off a bit, and then I can add some coal, and that will do as an old coaling stage around the back of the layout. Then we'll see it in place shortly. Now time to splodge in a little bit of PVA, and whoops, probably a bit too much, but that's no problem. A bit of there we go, just got to let the PVA on the coal dry now, and then I can set this in position, ballast around it and flock around it again. The water tower is going to go at this end, and yeah, that'll be okay. Just a little coal bin there just to top up a few locos. That will do nicely. And using my trusty hot glue gun, I have made a start on this corner. The polystyrene's not stuck down, that's just loose, but I put some wooden formers in, so there'll be an embankment coming down from where the roadway is up there, and I've cut some formers to give me an embankment around by the tracks here. Still some polystyrene to cut away, etc. And then there's a board join going across here. I've shaped the front panel here, and I've still got this right hand side to do once I've decided what I'm doing here yet. But yeah, so a start has been made, and the next job now is to cover that in card. I wanted this area fairly flat in case I decided to put a building or even a road, a lane or something on top of it. So that's where we are with that. So yeah, it's a good start. Let's have a look at the next stage now. We'll run some trains first. And there's the coaling stage now that the PVA is dried off, so very pleased with that. And soon we'll add the water tower and the signal box to add to that little area there as well. Moving on. And the final resting place for the cottage is where it started about 3 months ago, opposite the pub, up on top of the hill. So it'll have a little garden, a gravel drive in there, then it will slope down as a field, and that will still give me good access and view of the cutting, and I think it looks right there. So yeah, pleased with that. So again, now this area down here to sort out, and we're gradually getting there now, but I must admit I do prefer the look of that. I think it looks right up there, and that's it. Yeah, move on. Next job now. Right, there we go. Thank you for watching that. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm off now to rest my voice and my throat for a bit, so by next week I should be back to normal. Oh dear, oh dear. Never mind. In the meantime, if you want to subscribe, you know where the red button is for that, and if you want to do a like, you know where the little heart is for that. Thumbs up for that, that would be great. And in the meantime, happy modelling everybody, stay safe, and thanks once again for joining me. If you want to put any comments in, keep them clean. Cheers, bye now.